This is King H, the King of Manu. This message is directly to Tapang Ivo Tanku. I watched your recent video where you said federalism is a strategy that you're using to free the people of Southern Cameroon. Besides, federalism is not a strategy. Has never been a strategy. Will never be a strategy during a war. What La Republic and Southern Cameroon is going through is a revolution. It's a war between two states. And talking about federalism while you're going through a war or through a revolution, it's not a strategy at all whatsoever. Federalism is, what you're talking about, federalism is a half way of doing job. It's a half, it's like taking on a job you want to do, and then it's like, I'm going to do the job halfway. No. You want to do the job completely. We want complete independence. And we cannot talk about federation while we want independence. It's confusing and it's just ridiculous. Really. There is no nation on earth that talk about federalism while they're going through war. When the United States was going through a revolutionary war with Britain, they never talk of federalism. They prepared themselves and went to war and defeated the Great Britain and then obtained their independence. This is exactly what we are going through. So you can't talk about federalism as a strategy that will lead to independence. No. You want to take a shower, man, you want to swim, you got to get into the water. Pretty much. You can't put your leg in and, one of your leg in and then one out, you say you're swimming. No, you got to go in completely in the water. You want independence, you got to go on all the way. All the way. You have to fight for independence, for liberty, which is what we're looking for. Complete freedom from the hands, from the jaws of La Republic. So talking about federation with La Republic, it's a half way of doing job. It's a half mentality. You're not, doing it in a complete way. Either you're in for independence or not at all. So stop talking about federation because it's an excuse. And you said Bala could go into London and then go back to Cameroon. The reason he could go in and out the country while other separatist leaders, like Cisco Julius Ayuktabe or Cisco Ayuktabe Julius and the rest of the other leaders, separatist leaders who are fighting for independence for Southern Cameroon, cannot go in and out of Cameroon, is because they didn't make a deal with La Republic. Bala made a deal. That's the only reason he could go in and out of the country. So he's a sellout. Whether you like it or not, whether you accept it or not, that's just the truth. Because recently, I don't know if it's true or not, whether it's fake or not, but recently, the discussion is about 15 separatists. I'm calling it separatists. They call it successionists. But separatist leaders have warrants to be arrested internationally. BS, that's bullshit. Why would they decide to arrest leaders who are talking about separation from La Republic, and then you have Bala who's talking about federation, can go in and out of the country? Because, first of all, La Republic doesn't want federation. They want complete assimilation. They want us to assimilate into the Frenchman way, the Frenchman mentality. That's what they want. They want to eradicate our own way of life, which is why we are fighting. So we don't need federation, because federation would lead to complete assimilation. For a true Southern Cameroonian, for a true Anglophone, for a true West Cameroonian, We don't need federation, and federation is not a strategy. Even though you keep saying it is a strategy, it's not a strategy. It will lead us to nowhere. The fraud union led us to this stupid idea we call federalism, and then we're talking about federalism when in reality it never really existed in the first place. You know, the way forward, and I will say this, the way forward for all Southern Cameroonians are two methods. Two methods. You can't rely completely on the strategy of diplomacy, and you cannot rely completely on the strategy for military power. You need a combination. That's where the governing council failed, because they were all about diplomacy. They were all about diplomacy. And let me make one thing clear before I go further. Tapang Ivo Tanku, I'm talking to you directly. You want somebody to challenge you, and I am challenging you, and I will challenge you and your ideas and your thoughts, your whatever you put out, I will challenge it. If you say something that is, completely irrelevant to the struggle that we are facing as a people. You say we are fighting Bala. We're not fighting Bala. We are fighting the idea Bala stands for. And first of all, it's not even a fight. We're exchanging our ideas. We're expressing our thoughts. We're expressing what we think, our opinions on what he did or what he's doing. What we think is wrong. And as a citizen of Southern Cameroon, we have that birthright to say positive or negative things about any leader in Southern Cameroon who is fighting for the struggle. Any leader, whatever they're saying or doing, if we find it not to be suitable for the struggle of Southern Cameroon or for Ambazonia, we have the right to speak. So we're not fighting Bala. We're expressing our thoughts. We're expressing our ideas. We're expressing our freedom of speech, which is our birthright. I want to make that clear to you. You want to say we're fighting Bala? What is a fight? A fight is an exchange of blows that lead to violence or the use of weapons. Has any Southern Cameroon used weapons on Bala? Has any Southern Cameroon used a fist to hit Bala? No. All we did is exchange our ideas. We express our thoughts on what is happening, and we have that right as a citizen of Southern Cameroon to do that. And as a leader, if you don't know that, then you're not a leader, and I don't see why you were screaming in the first place. So, to further state my point of view that I want to explain, what I want to express to you, especially Tapang Ivo Tanku, there was a big mistake that Sisiku Julius Ayoktabe or Sisiku Ayoktabe Julius made with the governing council. And I've said this over and over, and I will keep saying it. Alright? Federalism is not a strategy and will never be a strategy. Yes, we need to come together, but you need to keep that idea of federalism as a strategy. It's not. When Vietnam was fighting a war with French, and they defeated the French, and when communism was coming up, and the United States decided to fight Vietnam or the Vietnam War, they didn't talk about federalism and then fight the war. No, they went in, fought, and in the process, they won. And you think La Republic is an elephant, a big elephant. How would you compare Vietnam and United States? which is a bigger elephant? So like what in other words, what I'm trying to make to you, stop sharing that stereotype that La Republique is a big elephant. No, it's big, but it's not an elephant that we cannot face. It's not an elephant that we cannot challenge and win. Which goes back to this lame ideology of federalism, which you keep saying is a strategy, but it's not a strategy. But I will tell you the strategy that we need to use to go forward. The mistake that the governing council and Sisiku Ayoktabe Julius made is this. On the day we were declaring our independence, October 1st, we should have been prepared enough to have a military inside southern Cameroon. A military of about 500 to 1,000 with well trained, with all the weapons that they need to challenge and to fight La Republique. But the mistake that we made is that we declared our independence without having the military backup. You can't say you're a free country, a free state without a military. How are you going to defend yourself when you attack? And on that October 1st, what happened? La Republique struck. They killed our people. People who were protesting unarmedly, they killed our people. And the governing council, and all, not just the governing council alone, and all the so-called leaders who claim to be leaders of Southern Cameroon, who are fighting for the freedom of Southern Cameroon, failed the people. It's not just the governing council. All the leaders, including you, Tapang Ivo Tanku, who call yourself a leader, you failed the people. You failed to protect the people on October the 1st, which led to many casualties, which led to many deaths. So as a leader, the strategy that we need forward is this. We need diplomacy. So in other words, we need what Sisiku Ayoktabe Julius is doing, and we need the military. So, and we in other words, we need Ayaba Cho Locus, who is part of the AGC. He has, as a claim, he has a military. We need the military to work with the diplomacy side of, of that strategy, because those are the strategy that we need to lead to our freedom, our liberty. Without that, federalism is not a strategy. You cannot be a country without a military, because you need the military to defend the country, the land, and the people in the land. Because if you defend the land and you're not defending the people, and the people are dead, well, what are you fighting for? You need to defend the land and the people. La Republique is not defending the Southern Cameroons, because they don't think we are a member of Cameroon. Because if they thought we were a member of Cameroon, then they wouldn't be killing us all willy-nilly. That's, So, in other words, we need a military and we need the diplomatic strategy working hand in hand so that we can achieve independence. On that October the 1st, the mistake that we made, if we were prepared and had a military inside Southern Cameroon, as La Republique decided to kill our people, would have taken that opportunity to declare war on La Republique and then fight the military of La Republique. Now, in other words, we have two military fighting each other. By doing so, we have casualties on both sides. When you have a continuous casualty on both sides of the military, the international community will now be forced to intervene to solve the issue. In that atmosphere, at that period, then now we talk about complete separation, because La Republic would never respect us as a people, as a free country, as a free state, if we don't have a military to fight them. No country in the world obtained independence without bloodshed. And you've seen the bloodshed that Southern Cameroonian citizens have gone through. You've seen the amount of people who have been killed. So the reason for us being afraid to pick arms, or to create, for our leaders, because they claim to be our leaders, for our leaders not being able to create the militia that would need to face La Republic, on that October the 1st, we should have taken that opportunity to declare war and fight the military of La Republic. In that way, you have two states fighting at each other, whereby the international community, African Union, the European Union, or whatever other country you want to get involved, will be now involved to solve the problem, where we will lay out our plight and the way forward, which will lead to complete independence. Because if we don't have our independence, then we will tell La Republic all we have to do is continue fighting. This is the only way forward to shorten the years of this war, of this revolution. If we can't do that, it's useless. We need a revolutionary thinker, somebody who is bold enough to put the military, and somebody who is bold enough to deal with the diplomatic entanglements, so that as the war goes on, we have other countries that will back us up to solve the problem that we are facing with La Republic. But so long as the governing council keep talking about all of the strategy for diplomacy, and then you got this guy Ayaba Cho Locus, who wants to only fight without looking at the diplomatic side of it. It's like a war that would never end. But in order to make this work, in order for us to move beyond just this revolution, we would need the combination of the diplomacy and the military power. This is King Echo, the King of Manu speaking, and I'm out. Till next time.